The coronation of Britain's King Charles III. Top Beijing health official says China will continue to monitor the COVID situation. And arguments among sporting groups over national anthem blunder controversy. Good evening and thanks for joining us. King Charles III was officially crowned monarch of the United Kingdom at London's Westminster Abbey just half an hour ago in a ceremony that dates back more than 1,000 years. Before Charles was officially crowned, the king was given the super tunica, or golden coat, to wear. He was also presented with the sovereign's orb, the coronation ring, and 2 scepters, one with a cross and one with a dove. At 12:01, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, placed the St. Edward's crown on the king's head. It is the only time the monarch will wear this 360-year-old crown that weighs over 2 kilograms.
With thy grace and heavenly benediction.
And we're looking at live pictures from London.
And with whom and in whom, in the unity of the Holy Spirit, all honor and glory be unto thee, O Father Almighty.
Right now, the pageantry and symbolism of the crowning of the king will feature some new twists on the tradition and changes from the coronation from his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, 70 years ago. Back then, Elizabeth II's coronation in 1953 was the first to be televised live. And this is only the second coronation to be televised. And in the age of streaming and social media, you and us will be able to watch Charles's crowning live from virtually anywhere on the planet.
We forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from.
And since early morning, thousands of people amassed in central London for the chance to witness history. But for crowds who camped overnight, the king actually came out to greet some of them in person. We'll have Tracy Furness here to report.
In a surprising and pleasant gesture, King Charles greeted excited crowds outside Buckingham Palace in person on Friday, on the eve of his coronation.
There's a lot of people here who could sign your cast for you.
And the Prince and Princess of Wales also greeted well-wishers.
It was absolutely one of the most unbelievable experiences of my life. I can't believe I've seen them in person, let alone shake their hands and have a conversation with them. It's just so exciting.
For those who could not get a good spot along the Mall to see the royal procession, Hyde Park was the place to be. Royal fans decked in red, white and blue are able to gather around a big screen to watch the royal event.
It's a part of history, isn't it? So to be part of this event is just, it's once in a lifetime, really. So we got up at 3 a.m. to get here for 7 to get the spot.
And also up early, troops in full military uniform from various military barracks arriving in London's Waterloo railway station, heading towards Buckingham Palace. Crowds didn't have to wait long to get their first glimpse of the King and Queen Camilla as they left Buckingham Palace shortly after 10 a.m. London time in the Diamond Jubilee stagecoach for the final mile to Westminster Abbey. The King and Queen arrived at the Abbey before 11 a.m. with foreign royals, heads of state and family members among the 2,000 guests invited to witness this historic event. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
With the World Health Organization announcing an end to the global emergency status of COVID-19. The head of China's COVID response team said he believes the virus remains a threat and monitoring will continue. Timothy Lee reports.
Having plagued the world over the past 3 years, the damage caused by COVID-19 could still be seen today. The Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention earlier said that around 80% of the mainland population was infected with the coronavirus at least once, with the pandemic having claimed the lives of over 80,000 people. In Hong Kong, infection numbers exceeded 2.8 million and claimed the lives of more than 13,300 residents.
更加有效
Liang Wannian, head of the National Health Commission's COVID response team, said that while COVID is no longer a public health emergency of international concern, the central government will continue to closely monitor the situation. The mainland health official stressed that a stronger monitoring network must be established to keep track of the progress of the pandemic. In Hong Kong, Government Health Advisor Professor Yuen Kwok-yung said Hong Kongers fought a good fight against the pandemic and praised residents for the cooperation with authorities, such as complying with a mask mandate. Meanwhile, Government Health Advisor Professor Ivan Hung believes the coronavirus actually offered some valuable insights into the faults with the city's public healthcare system. He said the healthcare system was on the verge of collapse during the fifth wave, and that the city should step up efforts to transform into a leading health tech hub. Hung reminds residents that the virus could continue to mutate, and that the public should combat the threat via vaccinations. The government said it will adjust current COVID-related measures upon reviewing the World Health Organization's suggestions. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
There's been more controversy over the national anthem blunder. The Hong Kong Ice Hockey Association and the Sports Federation and Olympic Committee have criticized each other on a number of issues, including attitude and false information. The ice hockey group submitted a supplementary report on Thursday on the national anthem mistake at the February match in Bosnia. The Sports Federation and Olympic Committee's Honorary Secretary General Edgar Yang said the report made a number of false claims and allegations. But the ice hockey team head Annie Kwan said there are no false claims at all. In a statement, the ice hockey group's chairman Kan Yeung-kit said Edgar Yang used a high-handed method to interrogate those involved in the case. Kenneth Fogg, who holds senior positions in both organizations, urged all parties to try and resolve the situation by plugging the national security loophole. It's understood the police have seized the Pillar of Shame, a statue previously placed in the University of Hong Kong, in connection with a case about an attempt to incite subversion. A Czech-based group started an online petition decried the police action as violations of artistic freedoms. The Security Bureau has condemned the group for making false allegations. This group called Ngô Day is said to be headquartered in Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic. He said the police's seizure of the Pillar of Shame calls into question the state of artistic freedom in Hong Kong. They also launched an online petition asking the international community to pressure the SAR government to return the sculpture back to its owner. The Security Bureau released a statement condemning these allegations as unfounded. It said the group has used artistic freedom as a pretext to smear police action and that disregarded Hong Kong law and the spirit of the rule of law.
It is concerned a particular case that will be in a court proceeding, so I'm not in a good position to comment on individual case. But I have to emphasize that police investigation in any case, it won't stop particular stage. If we consider that there's a value to seize anything, we will do it in accordance with law.
Yang Gao-shaw's sculptor of the Pillar of Shame said he wanted to come to Hong Kong to take back his artwork.
If the Hong Kong authority ask me to come and work together with and talk in the case for my friend, then I think I will take the risk and go. Of course, I will get my lawyer to take a view on that, and the Danish government.
When asked if the government will let groups hold rallies and vigils for the upcoming June 4th anniversary, the Security Secretary said authorities need to conduct thorough risk assessments because many people might hijack the occasion and endanger the city's safety and stability. Still ahead on tonight's news. Another popular food fair from the Happy Hong Kong campaign. Sudan's warring factions will hold talks in Saudi Arabia. And the UK's ruling Conservative Party suffers setback in local elections. Welcome back. The second installment of the Happy Hong Kong two-day gourmet food fair is being held in Sha Tin. The event is free and residents can enter without tickets this time. Veronica Lin reports.
The theme of the Sha Tin Food Fair is Chinese and Cantonese local delicacies. It has about 70 stalls. Before tasting the delicious food, of course, the camera has to taste it first. Many took the opportunity to go on a shopping spree. The Dragon Boat Festival is fast approaching, so how can we leave out zongzi, or sticky rice dumplings? This lady said the zongzi is quite delicious and that there was more people than expected. This resident said the food here is $20 to $30 cheaper than the markets. An abalone for $6? Does the quality live up to its hype? Max said he didn't expect it to be so cheap and thought the texture would be firmer. But it turned out to be quite soft and delicious, he said. Some exhibitors have participated in the food fair 2 weeks in a row. Despite the hot weather, some vendors said the atmosphere here still stimulated everyone's appetite, adding that compared with the fair in Wan Chai, business is expected to increase by at least 40%. In his speech at the opening ceremony, Financial Secretary Paul Chan said he hoped local consumption would boost the economy. Last month, the food and beverage figure was at around $9 billion. I hope consumption can help to boost the economy, he said. As for the third installment of the food fair, residents will have to wait until the 3rd and 4th of next month, when the fair will take place in Kwun Tong. Veronica Lin, TVB News.
Hong Kong Pakistani actor Hal Zaman won the Best New Performer at the 2023 Hong Kong Film Awards last month, marking the first South Asian in the city to clinch a prize at the prestigious event. We spoke with the child actor on what the award means to him and the wider ethnic minority community in Hong Kong.
我全名係Hal Zaman，咁我9月13咧，咁會10歲。
Hal Zaman made history as the first South Asian to receive an accolade at the 2023 Hong Kong Film Awards. The 10-year-old Pakistan-born Hong Konger won the Best New Performer prize for his role Hassan in The Sunny Side of the Street. During pre-production, the movie's team looked for ethnic minority actors who could speak both Cantonese and Urdu. After rounds of castings and months of training, Hal was eventually chosen from some 200 candidates.
It's my first movie. I made it, and I was also a little bit nervous when we have to remember so many lines at once at the same time. So, and also have to speak it in the same time, so it's a little bit hard, and sometimes the actions and reactions, we have to do it really quick.
The movie is about the challenging and moving experiences of a refugee boy eager to leave Hong Kong for Canada with his family. Polar opposite to his character in the movie, Hal sees Hong Kong as an inclusive place where opportunities abound.
My dad said that his friend also always say that your son is really good in Chinese. How did he learn so fast? And also they said you're also good at masjid. You're my own our own culture. I think they are proud of me.
Also sharing an immigrant background is the movie's director Lau Kok Rui, who came to Hong Kong from Malaysia at the age of 18.
I'm so happy that Hal won the Hong Kong Film Awards because I believe that we have so many talents in this city, but not every one of them could shine in the film industry. This is a very good sign to different communities in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong have so many opportunities. I really want to tell other people about our own Pakistani culture, motivate my people with my achievement that you could do anything, nothing is impossible.
This board was designed by Hal's school to display his cinematic work and achievements in a bid to motivate his fellow schoolmates to work hard and pursue their dreams, just like Hal has been doing over the past few years. Police said the body of the man suspected of bludgeoning a woman to death in March was identified by Japanese authorities last month after his escape to the country. The incident occurred on the 14th of March when the man was suspected of robbing and murdering the 63-year-old female owner of a Kwai Ching district flat. He then fled to Japan on the same day. Japanese authorities notified Hong Kong police on the 6th of last month after discovering the suspect's corpse in Yamanashi Prefecture. The police said investigations are currently ongoing. The MTR Corp has been successfully installing platform gates at East Rail Line stations. MTRC said the gates will be installed at its 13 East Rail Line stations and 35 platforms, with a total of around 1,600 pairs. To avoid a disruption to services, installation of the gates will be carried out over 2 hours at night. Construction is already underway at the Racecourse Station, followed by installations at the Taipo Market Station at the end of the month. The project is expected to be completed by the end of 2025. MTR Corp said after testing, these gates will be put into use immediately. Sudan's warring factions are due to hold talks in the Saudi city of Jeddah Saturday, according to Riyadh and Washington. The idea being to try to bring an end to a conflict that has seen hundreds killed already and thousands flee abroad. Numerous truces so far between the Sudanese army and the rapid support forces have not held. Now the Saudis and the Americans are pushing for serious talks to end the bloodshed that is endangering Sudan's fragile transition to civilian rule. But the two factions have only said they will discuss a humanitarian truce, not an end to the fighting as such. Britain's ruling Conservative Party suffered big losses in local elections, hampering Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's attempt to revive the party's standing ahead of a general election expected next year. With most results in, the Tories lost 943 seats, Labour gained 486, and the Liberal Democrats gained 353. Matthew Bray reports.
This was the last test of voter sentiment before the next general election due in January 2025, and the Conservatives received more than a wake-up call, losing almost 950 seats on local councils.
Unfortunately, national issues just seem to have overwhelmed the whole situation, and hence we've got the results we've got.
It was a different story for Labour, gaining hundreds of seats and taking control of some councils, such as here in Medway, which the Tories had run for 25 years.
Make no mistake, we are on course for a Labour majority at the next general election.
Projections from TV networks based on vote share would have Labour at 36 to 38% at the next general election, while the Tories would get between 28 to 30%.
Disappointing to lose hard-working Conservative councillors, their friends, their colleagues, and I'm so grateful to them for everything that they've done.
The Conservatives saw seats disappear in the south and the north to Labour, while the Liberal Democrats also made gains in the wealthier parts of the south. While some contests turned on local issues, voters appear to have deserted the ruling party over issues from the previous two governments under Boris Johnson and the chaotic 6-week reign of Liz Truss. Not a total overall picture, though, as there were no elections in London, Scotland or Wales. Northern Ireland will vote on May the 18th. Matthew Bray, TVB News.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has returned to his country after trips to Helsinki and The Hague, and revealed he has secured further reinforcements from Kyiv's allies. This comes as the head of the Russian mercenary Wagner Group announced he would pull his forces out from the conflict-hit eastern city of Bakhmut, citing a lack of ammunition. But Ukraine said it could be a smokescreen. Daniel Rao reports.
Upon returning from visits to Helsinki and The Hague, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he had won a powerful reinforcement of weapons for Kyiv's soldiers on land, in the air and at sea as a result of talks with allies there. Earlier on Friday, the Ukrainian leader held a meeting with a delegation from the US Congress where further cooperation was agreed. Meanwhile, Russia's main mercenary supplier, the Wagner Group, announced plans to withdraw from the eastern Ukrainian city of Bakhmut. The group's leader, Yevgeny Prigozhin, said his men had been starved of ammunition. The announcement said bureaucrats had held back supplies despite knowing that Wagner's target date to capture the city was May 9th, the day of Russia's World War II Victory Day commemoration. The battle for Bakhmut, which Russia sees as a stepping stone to capturing other cities in Ukraine's Donbass region still beyond its control, has been the most intense of the conflict. It has cost thousands of lives on both sides and months of grinding warfare. The Kremlin declined to comment on Prigozhin's statement. Ukrainian intelligence said the statement could be a smokescreen and that Wagner fighters were reinforcing positions to try to seize Bakhmut before Victory Day.
U.S. President Joe Biden's administration is reportedly planning to send $500 million worth of weapons aid to Taiwan, using the same emergency authority that has been used more than 35 times for Ukraine. As a part of the 2023 U.S. budget, Congress authorized up to $1 billion worth of weapons aid for Taiwan using presidential drawdown authority. This authorizes the president to transfer articles and services from U.S. stockpiles without congressional approval during an emergency. Let's now go back to live in London. The service in Westminster Abbey will wrap up soon. Over 2,000 people in the Abbey. And that's a much pared down affair compared with Charles III's mother. Back then, it was a 3-hour extravaganza involving more than 8,000 members. And that's the news for tonight. Stay tuned for more updates tonight at the News Roundup.